Hello, everyone, and welcome back from the break. Today, we're joined by Ahmed Patel, the Chief Operating Officer at Synergi. Ahmed brings over 2 decades of experience driving strategic and digital transformation across global organizations. Before joining Synergi, he led centralized shared services at Mubadala, overseeing service delivery and end-to-end digital enablement, including AI initiatives. His career also spans roles in management consulting and with multinational corporations across South Africa, the UK, Europe, and the Americas. We're really excited to have him with us today to share his insights on innovation, governance, and digital transformation in today's evolving business landscape. Ahmed, it's lovely to have you here today. Thank you so much for being on the show. Just to begin, Ahmed, Synergi is positioning itself as a pioneer in AI-driven shared services. Can you share how Synergi blends technology and human expertise to redefine BPO in the region?
So at Synergi, we see the importance of technology. I mean, the AI revolution is here already. It's not coming. We believe it's here, and we're already seeing its impact everywhere, across everything that we do, right? So as Synergi, what we're doing is we're looking at how to best leverage AI to drive efficiency, not only for ourselves, but for our clients. However, in saying that, it's equally important to have that human-centric element. It's always going to be really key to be close to your clients, to maintain that sort of human relationship with them, to understand what their concerns and what their challenges are, but then also in the back end to be able to drive that efficiency through that automation. And that's really what we as Synergi are aiming to bring together as a one-stop service to the client.
That's amazing. So many companies turn to large global BPOs. What advantages does Synergi's boutique model offer to clients seeking agility and end-to-end integration?
So I think when Synergi was started, what was really clear to us was that there were very large multinational BPO organizations, and then there were much smaller organizations catered more towards smaller businesses, low-cost type of service. We saw a gap in the market for a premium boutique BPO provider, and that's where we believe we fit perfectly. And what that means is we're catering to an audience or a client base that wants a premium service, that wants a high-quality service, that also wants a service provider that creates value for them at the end of the day through technology, but also through bringing in good governance, good practices, and a team of functional experts. I think one key part of our value proposition is that we bring in functional experts from each of our different verticals. So we provide services across accounting, HR, procurement, IT, marketing as well. And in so doing, we bring together all of these experts to deliver a comprehensive solution to the client. So if they come to us, essentially, they don't need to go anywhere else unless it's something very niche or very different that they're looking for.
And just with Synergi, you talked about how when it was founded, can you tell us this, the specific date and like what really inspired it? Like, what's the real story behind it?
So Synergi's story is interesting. It started out as part of a larger group that was based in Abu Dhabi. And the thinking behind Synergi at the time was that it would provide BPO services within that group company, but then eventually expand to provide services beyond the group. In its first couple of years, it started around about 3 years ago. In its first couple of years, Synergi did very well. All the foundations were established, and it grew quite well within the group. Post that, there was a strategic decision taken within the group to exit the BPO business. And because the management team at the time felt very strongly and were very confident in the potential of the BPO business, that's when the management team decided to take over the company and executed a management buyout. So from that point onwards, Synergi was taken over and taken private in terms of offering its services commercially to a broader audience.
And do you think that that privatization was essential?
I think it definitely allowed more agility. It definitely allowed more creativity and innovation because we weren't part of a larger system that put in place bureaucracy, that put in place certain boundaries within you could operate. So I think that being given that independence, being given that freedom to be creative, to develop your own technology backbone, to develop your own culture, because I think culture is really critical, was actually a very good thing for Synergi, and I think we've grown really well as a result of that.
Oh, wow. And something else that stood out to me is the fact that you said that, the company was born in Abu Dhabi, and we're hearing how it's becoming this like capital of capitals. How did the company being first born in Abu Dhabi, how did it propel it forward?
So I think Abu Dhabi is an amazing place to start a business, as is Dubai as well, to be honest. But I think with Abu Dhabi's drive to bring in capital, to bring in investment, and just in general looking at the global context, the confidence that the world is showing in the GCC region is really good to see. It's really inspiring, because what that means is you've got all of these foreign companies looking to establish within the UAE, not only within the UAE, but in the region as well. You see this a lot in Saudi. And as a company that offers comprehensive corporate services like Synergi, BPO services, this is really important to us, and it's amazing to see, because we support our clients essentially with their market entry. We don't see ourselves as an outsourcing partner. We see ourselves as an enabler, as an accelerator. So instead of clients coming into the country, taking 6 months to set up an office, and then only being able to go to market, we help our clients greatly accelerate that. So they're able to set up their entity, to launch their operations, because they don't need to consider their back office functions. They don't need to think about their accounting, HR, IT needs, because we provide all of that. And so go-to-market is just that much quicker. And we've done this for a number of clients.
And, on the topic of markets, as you've said, with operations in the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Lebanon, and Romania, how does Synergi approach delivering that consistent quality in all of these different markets?
For us, governance is key. If I just talk you a little bit through our client journey, when we take on a new client, one of the first things that we do is try to understand what is the current state of that client's operations, because we're very fussy in terms of taking on a new client. Things have to be at the level that we expect in terms of corporate governance, in terms of process, for us to be able to commit to delivering that quality service. And we wouldn't take a client if we are not confident that we can deliver that high quality service. So this is really, really important to us. So the first thing we do when we take on a client is develop, if things are not in place, such as a delegation of authority, the corporate governance, policies and procedures, we would develop that for them before we take it on. So having this strong governance in place from the outset of any engagement helps us to ensure that no matter where we're delivering, whether it's here or in Saudi Arabia or in Lebanon, we maintain that consistent high quality across all locations.
Do you have a specific story to tell with a client in a specific country?
I have a few clients that I can talk about. I think one, I can't name names for obvious reasons, but a couple of very interesting clients that we work with are Web3 startups, crypto startups here in Dubai and in Abu Dhabi. And this is a very niche, specialized capability that we've built up doing accounting for them, where we manage their wallet transactions because they deal a lot in crypto and virtual assets. We help them to account for them. We also manage some of the regulatory side of things on their behalf in terms of advisory. So that has proven to be quite an interesting area for us to operate in. We also equally work with much larger entities, such as semi-government entities, other large private organizations, such as a large hotel chain that we're supporting with transforming their HR operations. And so we have quite a broad spectrum of clients that we typically work with.
And I think, you said something that stood out to me, and it was that you guys are pretty fussy about taking on clients. If you need to ensure that you can deliver. And what I want to know is, have you guys faced certain challenges that have come up?
The usual challenges that we would face are, if I was to summarize them, I'd place them into two sort of buckets. One of them would be that initial conversation with the client. For us is typically BPO companies would focus on cost, and traditional BPO has always been about cost arbitrage, taking a job from here and placing it in a lower cost location and basically driving those savings. The conversation that we like to have with clients is about value rather than cost. And so I think those conversations at the very beginning are challenging because obviously when you're talking to a client, cost is always going to be part of the conversation. And the reason that they would want to explore BPO typically is cost. And so taking them along the journey, taking them towards that value conversation rather than just cost arbitrage is an important one. And we typically take time to set the expectations and to make sure that we're on the same page with the client. I think the second part is when you're taking on a BPO engagement, when you're working with a client, the most important thing is always going to be how you manage the change with the people. And that's making sure that those client employees are well aware of what you're doing, making sure that your way of working is communicated, is well-defined, is measured and reported in the right way, just to make sure that you have that broad-based buy-in at the client. Because most of the issues that we face in business are always going to be people-related in terms of maybe not everyone has the same understanding of what you're trying to do. Some people might think that outsourcing just means you're going to be taking jobs away and moving them elsewhere, whereas that's not always the case. And so there's a whole process of change management that we would need to follow for any client.
And I'm really interested in your programs. So you've led digital enablement programs, including AI. How is AI transforming operational efficiency in shared services, and how does Synergi help clients realize measurable ROI?
So I think this is a topic that's particularly close to my heart. And it's one of the key things that we're driving within Synergi, because we see it as being so important to driving that amazing client experience that we're targeting. A couple of areas that I can talk about. I think, first of all, if we just talk about our internal operations, we look at AI across all of our internal processes, whether it comes to onboarding new employees, or it comes to things like invoicing for clients, or payments for suppliers. All of these things are significantly automated using agentic AI. When it comes to our client experience as well, on the client side of things, a good example that I can talk about is our AI agent that we've enabled for our clients, where any client that we have, as soon as they're onboarded, they get a welcome message from our AI agent, and they're able to interact with the AI agent, ask about the services that they've got, potential new services that they could have, raise a request or an issue that they might need some help with. So these are things that we're implementing to drive a higher quality of service to the client. But then on top of that, when we go out to meet with clients, in addition to our BPO services that we typically do, we often spot other opportunities for automation, sometimes in their core operations. And that's where our AI as a service vertical would come in, where we would go in and support them in building out an AI use case specifically tailored for them. So, for example, one of our clients had a need for regular price comparison on their portfolio of assets. And I can't talk to specifics, but the assets are not assets that are liquid in nature, and therefore it's not easy to always go and find the price. And so we built an AI application for them that is constantly being updated, that is constantly communicating to the client what their portfolio looks like and what the value of it is at a point in time.
And this is so interesting, and I think, the fact that you guys are embracing AI, and I feel like over time we've obviously seen how there are some businesses, some people who are still skeptical of AI. So what would you say to them? Do you think that more businesses like you guys need to embrace artificial intelligence?
It's absolutely inevitable. We have to embrace it, and we have to see it as a support mechanism as opposed to a replacement of people. And the reason I say this is, at least from a Synergi standpoint, we will always have people that are there, that are close to their clients, that sit down with a client, understand their needs, because that's just who we are and who we want to continue to be. The AI is there as a support mechanism to make things quicker, more efficient, and so, of course, we have to do whatever we can to embrace it and implement it wherever we can to drive that efficiency. But I don't think it's something to be fearful of, and I don't think it's something that we can avoid either.
That's really interesting. And, Synergi has a shared services assessment tool. Can you explain how this tool drives insights and helps clients quantify value from BPO solutions?
So this has been one of our more popular offerings. What we do is, when you have a client that has a larger asset base or a broader base of operations, like a holding group or an investment company with multiple subsidiaries under it, either they would already have their shared services set up, which centralizes certain back office functions, or maybe they don't. Maybe each of their subsidiaries has their own finance, HR, procurement verticals under them. What we would do is go to that company and support them in evaluating either their existing shared services or the potential for shared services across the base of their subsidiaries. And what that entails is really understanding what do first of all, their policies and procedures and processes look at each of those companies. How standard are they across all of the companies? Are there consistent governance criteria? Are there consistent policies there? But then secondly, also looking at the volumes. So what sort of transaction volumes do they have at each entity? What sort of headcount do they have at each entity to cater to those transaction volumes? And we would come up with a comprehensive assessment for them using our proprietary shared services tool. And what that does is it really gives that visibility to the management team there in terms of, this is how your shared services operates, or this is the benefit that you can get out of implementing shared services in terms of value creation to the business. We've found that leadership teams at these groups find it invaluable in driving that decision-making process. And it also helps them to measure ROI at the end of the day if they decide to go ahead with shared services.
But how do you guys measure trust? Earlier, Ahmed, you were talking about governance. I want to know, how do you guys maintain those long-term relationships, and how do you build that trust with your clients?
It all comes down to regular engagement with the client, making sure that you're there if they need you. This is really important to us because if the client has any issue, we want to be the first person that they call, because we don't see ourselves as being an external or an outsider or a third party. We see ourselves as being a strategic partner almost internal to the organization, an extension of them. And so that sort of mindset, that culture is what drives the relationship, in my view. And that's what's caused the stickiness of clients, that clients tend not to leave us. And so I feel that is core to building trust, is just maintaining that regular connection with the client and knowing what they need before even they know what they need.
And with Synergi, you guys are in, I would say, one of the best regions, if not best region in the world right now. The Middle East, it's booming. So how do you guys align Synergi with Saudi Vision 2030 goals and with the UAE's digital economy agenda?
So both of those, both Saudi Vision 2030 and the UAE's digital economy agenda, they're both very much focused on operational and digital enablement and efficiency. And we're targeting both of these areas, both in terms of driving operational efficiency and driving technology enablement and efficiency through technology. So we view ourselves as being core to okay, I'll take that again. Both the Saudi Vision 2030 and UAE digital economy agenda are very much focused on driving operational and technology enablement and efficiency. And as Synergi, this is the core of what we do, is really helping our clients to drive those efficiencies. And so as we work with semi-government organizations or private sector organizations, this is really the core focus is driving those efficiencies and driving digital enablement, regardless of whether it's in their back office or front office functions. So that we see is our core contribution to both of these.
And for the next question, I want to ask, having worked across multiple continents and industries, what key lessons have shaped your approach to delivering strategic and digital transformation in these shared services?
I touched on it a little bit before. I think change management and people are key to driving change wherever you go, regardless of the continent, regardless of the country or the culture. It's all about how you manage the change among the people that are there. And communication is so key, and making sure that everyone is aware of what the objective of the change is, everyone is aware of what their role is within that change, how it's going to impact them, and what's needed from them at the end of the day, and maintaining this regular drumbeat of communications throughout any change process. This is really important regardless of any project you undertake, whether it's a digital transformation project or a BPO project. It's all about the people eventually.
And, where do you see BPO and shared services industry in the next 5 years in the Middle East? And how is Synergi preparing to lead that evolution?
It's a very exciting time. We see the UAE market as well as the KSA market growing at above average rates in terms of the BPO sector. Overall, the GCC is forecast to grow at more than 10% per annum. So quite healthy growth rates that we're seeing across the entire region. And we're here to facilitate that growth. So as we see, particularly in KSA, in Saudi Arabia, where we see the market is very quickly maturing there, there's a growing need for the types of services that Synergi provides. We're seeing a really accelerated demand from clients over there looking for these types of services, not just your stock standard outsourced accounting or outsourced HR, but actually value add, digitally enabled back office services. And we're seeing this more and more from our clients, that they're more nuanced in what their needs are. So Synergi as an organization, we're gearing up to support this demand because we are already seeing it coming, and we just expect it to grow in the next few years.
And for my final question for you today, do you have a last message that you want to tell the Smashi Business audience?
I think in terms of last message, if I could leave you with one key message, it would be that the BPO industry has always been seen as a cost arbitrage tool, purely just taking jobs from one place and putting them in another to save money. And that's not what we're about. We're really looking to change the mindset around the industry. We're trying to drive the view that BPO is more about driving value as opposed to just driving costs down, driving capability, helping our clients to drive some of these efficiencies and actually enhance their quality of service to their clients. Yes, it is back office services that we provide, that BPO companies provide, but at the end of the day, of course, it has a knock-on effect on the end client of our clients. And so it's really important to recognize the value element as opposed to just the cost arbitrage element. And of course, technology plays a big part of that.
Yes, that's definitely important. Thank you so much for being on the Smashi Business Show today, Ahmed. Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. This is Ahmed Patel for you, the Chief Operating Officer at Synergi. This is a Smashi Business Show, a Smashi Business production at the Augustus Media Podcast Network. See you tomorrow.